How you doing, animation students? So welcome back to another tutorial. And today we're actually going to step away from our car, kind of our normal project, and we're gonna kind of play with some motion tweening. Now we're going to play with the motion paths specifically. So it's basically the path that whatever you're animating follows. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that, and then tomorrow you will have a project where you're going to actually add to whatever you're working on today, and that's what you'll turn in tomorrow. All right, so let's go ahead and open that. So instead of just creating new, we're going to hit open. This is already in your files. So if you want to go back to, it should open if you open what you last opened, and you're going to see or the last project that you opened, it's the same folder. And you're going to see 03 motion path.fla. This is the one you want. Again, 03 motion path FLA. Okay, and so let's go ahead and open that one. Okay, and you're going to see that it's a little, I guess, little rocket, right? Little spaceship. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and, well, the first thing I want to do is I kind of want to make it a little bigger. Well, no, this is fine. We won't make it bigger. This is fine for right now. And we'll just talk about this motion path. So you're here already. Everybody should be open. And let's go ahead and talk about this right now. All right. The motion tween of the left car, the one that we're working on right now, right? It shows a colored line with dots. Remember the dots, and those little dots again are the motion paths, or you can think of them as little tiny cards, right, from the flipbook project. And these little yellow dots are each of the frames or the little cards from the flipbook project. And I'm going to go back to that over and over again because it was one project last semester that you were able to kind of pair up with this project. You can pair it up with this project because you can easily correlate, each frame that you worked on gruelingly, right? It was a gruesome, time-consuming task. All right, so let's go ahead and what we're going to do here, and this is one thing I'm not going to show you it's not really covered, but you remember when we did our first project and we were working with the cup, and if you were to hover around this motion path, you start seeing that little smiley face. All right. Start seeing this little smiley face. So just like the cup where we made that bulge, if you just push it out, you can actually change the motion path. All right, so let me undo this first, and I'm just going to hit play so we can see what it normally does. From the sky down, right? But if we want to, we can actually get the little bulge, and we can bulge it out, and we can adjust it with that little smiley face, kind of like the way we did the cup, right? But now we're doing the actual motion path. There you go. And now we can change the direction or the way that the rocket moves. And we're going to be messing with a lot of different ways to move this motion path, and it gets really tricky and it can get real advanced, but professionals really understand this part about animation, because you can get things oriented the right way. Because if you notice, this is kind of weird. It starts really well, but then it looks kind of weird. It doesn't follow the path it doesn't look correct. But we're going to fix that in a second. So but that's the way we work in animation. We have to tweak the little things, get the real details out so it can do what you want it to do in your mind, okay? In your creativity as you bring it out. So we're going to move that back. And what we're going to do now is we're going to hit the selection tool, right? And let's just do some basic movements. And so we basically, we just use this tool. I'm going to hit undo, Command Z, to get it back to where we're going to go, where we wanted it, where we started. And I'm going to click the selection tool. Okay. You can also hit V. I'm hitting V just to double check that. Okay. And what we'll do here is, let me undo that again. What we'll do here is I'm going to click on the motion path, and you're going to see a line through it. And then from there on, now we can just move it around. All right. Now if I play again, we moved your motion path, you move your object. So that's the way you move your object and your motion path, right? And I'll let you guys play with it. I'm going to be moving it around in different areas to give you a chance to kind of catch up and play with it. Okay. You may want to hit pause here every so once in a while. We're going to do that in class a little bit, so people can just kind of mess with it. All right. So once it becomes highlighted, you can move it to a different part of the stage. Now we're going to actually change the rotation of it, right? So right now it's pretty much just staying in one spot. You're just moving it in, I guess, the space around, but it's not really changing any type of orientation, right? It's still going from the top to bottom. It's just in different areas. But if we get the free transform tool, right up here, let me see if I can get it to pop up. There you go. Free transform tool, and you click on it, and then we have the box, right? The box with all of the anchor points on the corners, right, on the ends in the top right. And what this allows us to do is it allows us to make it bigger. Okay, we can elongate it, right? We can make it, wider. And again, it changes. Then we hit play. So now it's all the way across the screen instead of just a little bit. So if I wanted to actually fly off stage, again, this is where I can click and drag it over. All right. It lands and it lands off the stage. Cool, huh? So you can do that. And again, play with this and hit pause if we need to. And now I'm going to rotate it. Now I want to change the actual path. Maybe now I want, instead of him landing, I'm going to have this astronaut basically launch or take off. See? So you can do lots of different things. Again, by hovering around the corner, you get this little circle motion on the very corner, one of the corners, but you have to hover without clicking. That's the thing. If you click around, it's going to do something completely different. You may lose it, right? So again, free transform tool, and then just select the motion path. You don't select the object, right? You don't select the symbol. You select the motion path, because that's what we're going to be editing, and that's really what we're going to be messing with all day today. All right. Oh, this is an interesting one that I accidentally did. It's almost like an elevator, right? It would be cool if I wanted to be like Elon Musk, kind of launch my own rocket, but it's at a wrong orientation. I have to fix him, right? This is no perfect science. Yeah, I have to. It would be cool if it was facing up. We'll take care of that in a second. But anyway, that's if it was a rocket kind of launching out into outer space, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and undo real quick for that. Hitting my Control Z many times to go back to a state where I think I like. I'll leave it there, right? I'll leave it there. That's good. So again, play with it. So you can see there's many ways to kind of move around with the regular selection tool and the free transform tool. You can do a lot, but we can do even more. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. So right now we're going to we're going to do some more extreme curves. And the way we do this is really simple, right? We're going to use a tool that we haven't used before, and that's called, maybe I think we just played with it a little bit, but this is called the anchor point tool, right? Which is hidden underneath the additional tear off tools. But we use this anchor point tool, I think, when we modified our shapes when we were working with the pen tool. So it's actually located in your pen tool, right in your pen. If you hold it down, it's nested inside toward the bottom where it says Convert Anchor Point Tool. It's this one right here. That's one we're going to use today. But if it's not there, you remember you have to go down to these three dots, and it's probably hiding in your extra tools, right? Your secret tools. But most of us, if we've used it before, it's in our Convert Anchor Point tool. We're going to grab that, and you're going to click on the beginning, I guess, motion, the motion tween anchor point. And you're going to click that, and you're going to drag it. And all of a sudden, it looks like the pen tool, right? Cool. Some of you are saying, no, Mr. Juarez, but look at this cool little curve that I made, I know you don't, but look how cool that is. Nice and smooth. And now I'm going to grab this anchor point up here, and I'm going to basically, maybe I wanted to do a cool little move like that. See, and I just grabbed and drag, click and dragged, And then now it has a sweet, smooth move. No, it's flying around. It's nice, right? That's how you can start editing and getting some shapes, right? And there's many ways. Again, like I showed you at the very beginning, you can nudge it and you can bulge it out. But this one, you can actually start moving things in different directions, right? And you can basically make some really sweet curves as you're doing these different pulling of anchor points. Clicking drag. I'm going to go ahead and pause it for a few seconds here and let everybody catch up, because I know this may confuse people, but I want you to practice this, and then we're going to hit play. And those of you at home, go ahead and pause it, work this out, and then come right back, and then we're going to continue. All right. So you should have paused it. I'm going to keep going because, I'm still teaching it, but you should have paused it and played with it a little bit. All right. So again, you can manipulate it. You can play with it. You can go back to the regular selection tool. And if you want to bulge it a little more, you can do some, you can really mess this up a little bit, I guess, smooth it out maybe. Let me go this way. See, with the bulge tool doesn't really work 100%. It kind of gives you these weird little deal, right? Maybe it was, if you want to do some reminds me of dribbling a basketball kind of deal. I'm going to hit undo because I had a really cool curve before I messed myself up. Right. All right. So again, you can do some really cool things with the change your anchor point tool, clicking and dragging, right? Clicking and dragging. So, so now we made it move in curves, our little rocket ship. But again, one of the things I think that you guys have already caught on is that when you play our rocket ship, right? You play our rocket ship. It follows the path, right? But the object, our symbol, it doesn't look right? If I want it, it's basically not working in the right orientation, so to speak. In other words, it's moving backwards and it's defying the laws of physics. All right, you're thinking it's propulsion's going forward. How can it push it back? And we're going to fix that right now. Right. Sometimes the way the object, especially in this particular case, it's important, right? The picture of this rocket is important that it follows a certain way for it to look realistic. And so the rocket should follow this path with the nose pointed in the direction of the motion path, right? So we're going to do that right now. So we're going to click on this tween here. And this is something that we were messing with. And a lot of you are going to say, oh, Mr. Watt, you found it. Because I did find it. One of the things that people did by accident, and now I read up a little bit more about it, is you held down shift and then you click or double click the motion tween, and you got all of this extra information, right? And everyone's like, no, Mr. Watt, we were trying to figure it out in 7th period. Shout out, Kiana, right? So what happened is you held down shift and clicked. I'm going to hold down shift and click it again, double click it, I'm sorry. Hold down shift and double click it, and it closes up. Hold down shift, double click, it opens up, right? And now this is showing you the curve of your motion path, right? But more importantly, if you go over here and you go to properties, it gives you some other kind of options, right? So if we click on our symbol here, right? And you click on your motion tween. Click on your motion tween. It has this little tweening down here, this little tweening box, right? In your properties in frame. You see that? So you have to click on your motion tween, go to properties. If you're in tool or object, you'll go ahead and click frame, and you're going to get this little motion tweening. So again, I'm going to show you the little areas. Click here, right? That's your motion tween. Go to your properties and then frame, right? It should be frame. And then down here, tweening. All right. All right. So again, one of the big things that we want to do here is we want to go back to reset our rocket ship, right? And the best way to do this is to first orient this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, this probably doesn't work 100% for me. I'm going to do something real quick. I'll use this tool. Click on here. Let me go this way. There you you go. Yeah. All right. Then I'm going to come up here. Click on this. I'm doing this on the fly, guys. No pun intended with my little fly guy. But I'm going to want to fly out into space. So actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. Have him fly out into space. And then I'm going to have him or let's go this way. Yeah. I'm doing this on purpose because I need to show you something real quick. Okay. There you go. Okay, there we go. One more time. For this part, I need to show you. I'll play with it a little bit later. So now we're here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my free transform tool, right? My free transform tool. I'm going to click on my symbol, right? The very first thing I want to do is I want to get my rocket ship orientated in the right spot. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to point it up, kind of like if it's on a launch pad, because I want it to follow the motion path. Let me see how it looks, right? Okay. Again, it's not quite right, but I want it to follow it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the tween again. Properties, frame, tweening, and this little box that says orient to path. Okay. Now it goes through. Boom. And there it is. From launch to takeoff. It looked like it was going to fall backwards, right? So if I want to adjust the little curve again, and I want it to blast off, I can do that. And if I want it to, oh, it looks like it's going to crash, right? How about that? There you go. Nice. All right. But maybe I need to fix it a little bit, right? Because my little dude probably needs to be 180 degrees. Right? Probably makes sense that way. Mirror image, so to speak. Now let's see what happens. See, now that feels better, right? Now sometimes you have to flip it mirror image. You see what I did? I just grabbed the free transform tool, grabbed one side of the box, and just pulled it over. Okay. So now it looks legit, right? Boom, and it's outer space. Elon Musk, right? So that's how you direct your stuff. I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to let you play with it for a few minutes, just the way I did, right? Some of you already caught on really well, but I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes in class to kind of do it. Not a whole lot of time, but just so that you can catch up. All right. Hit pause. Now I'm back. All right. So now what we're going to do is for our final trick, right, is we want to switch out the tweens. It's actually second to the final trick. There's two things I want to do. And the first thing I want to do is instead of this rocket ship, I actually want an alien there in that rocket ship. All right. So we're going to pick we're going to change it to the alien. And what we're going to do is real simple. This is the easiest thing we've done, right? Is we go to the library, and all our stuff lives in the library. We've done this before, right? And you're going to look for this alien symbol, and you'll click on it, and you have this cool little alien, not cute, cool little alien. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab this symbol, and you're going to drag it right to the rocket ship, and just put it right on the rocket ship. Boom. Then you get this dialog box. Do you wish to replace the existing tween target object, right? Called a target object because it's, we're aiming for it and that's our target. And there it is, right? There's our alien. Now, what do we have to do? Go to our free transform tool, right? Go to the corner and then change the orientation a little bit so he's standing right side up, right? Let's test out. Let's test this out. Now, whoa, now he's flying away with his powers, right? And that's it. That's all there is to it. To switch out your your target, and you can do that with lots of different things. If you had a picture that you're moving, and then later on, or something you're drawing, and then later on you draw something in Illustrator and you want to bring it in, and you just want to switch it out, drag and drop. You find a picture in Google Images that you like better than what you already were using, switch it out, drag and drop, and now everything is all of your hard work you don't lose it because you have it all saved, and you can just swap out the target. Super easy. All right. So now this is the last trick, right? And this is actually creating movement within movement. Now we're starting to get a little more complex, right? So let me read you this. Right. Often an object is animated on the stage will have its own internal animation. For example, the wings of a butterfly moving across the stage may flap as the butterfly moves, right? Or the alien we just swapped with the rocket ship could be waving his arms like if he's trying to fly like a bird, right? And these kinds of animations, right, they're called nested animations. We're going to make him kind of do this like movement, right, where he's kind of flying around. They're called nested movements because they contain movements inside movements, right? And it's inside the movie clip. Movie symbols, when you double click them, they have their own timeline. So you can actually have this timeline that we're seeing here, right? And then we can have it a separate timeline. If this kind of bothers you and you want to go back to our original view, you just hold on Shift and double click that. And now it's closed up. Again, you saw that what I did. I just held down Shift and double clicked it. But every one of these symbols has its own timeline, and I'm going to show it to you right quick. So if you double click the alien, actually hit V, right? If you hit and it goes to our selection tool. If you double click the alien, right, it took us over here. If you know, it took us to that symbol editing stage, right down here. And look down here, we have a whole different timeline with feet, head, body, arm 1, arm 2. And here are all the parts, all the alien parts. Now, here's a quick tip for you, those of you who are really big into Photoshop and really big in Illustrator, specifically Illustrator. If you create an animated character in Illustrator, and I'll take this back a little bit, any program, even on your iPad, that exports to EPS files, right? So basically it's there's a lot of other apps that you're using on your tablets, right, or Chromebooks, that you can do animations where you can create cool art, and a lot of you have it. If it can export an EPS, you can bring that project into Animate, and if you look on here on the right hand side, it actually preserves all of your layers individually. It'll bring them in. Okay. And so what that does is that now you can animate each individual layer, quote unquote, symbol, right? And our object, you can animate it individually. So you can create your alien in Illustrator and then save all the layers, or Photoshop and save layers, right? That's what we can do, especially in Animate. There's so much that you can do. So let's do what I said we're going to do. Let's go ahead and start making him flap his arms. All right. So we're going to get the selection tool, right? You can click here or you can click V, right? And we're going to select the left arm. Okay. And we are already in the first keyframe down here, if you notice, right? So click on the arm, right? And then what I'm going to do here, actually, you know what I'm going to do up here? I'm going to click on 100. I'm going to go to 200, and then I'm going to center this. Maybe I'll go to 150. I want to see the whole alien, right? I'm going to hold on, click on this little arm, and I'm going to. It's already created. I'm going to right click. All right, this is another way. You can right click, create motion tween, and as soon as you did that, it automatically gave you a second of time. You see this little bar down here? It automatically gave it to you. Now it's a motion tween, right? And what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and we want to get our free transform tool. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull it up. Okay. So now if you move our playhead back, see, now it moves up. Don't worry, the alien's disappearing. It's fine. I'll fix that in a second, right? So we just created that motion tween, just like our other motions, right? There's nothing new. Okay, it converts the layer into it converts the layer into a tween layer, right? And again, inserts 1 second of time. Now what we're going to do, we're going to do the right arm, and we'll click on that. Right click, create motion tween. Boom. And then we're going to basically grab it by the hand, and then we're going to bring it up too. And again, I'm using the free transform tool as I'm moving this around. You got to see these boxes around here for it to work. All right. So go ahead and do that. I'll hit pause again. I'm hitting pause a lot because these are, I want everybody to be at the same spot to where we're at. And again, it'll probably be for a minute or two, but as long as we're all on the same pace. Okay. So then now we're back, or hopefully we're back if I paused it, right? And so now what we're going to do is we're going to move this back to see where it's at, right? And we hit play. Oops. There it is. I had a little bug there. So that is how we do it. So we want to see the whole alien though, right? So we're going to click on the last, and we're going to hold down shift and click the next one, and hold down shift and click the third one, because we want to see the feet, head, and body the whole time. So there we are, 1, 2, and 3. And then what you're going to do is you're going to hit F5, okay? F5, which will create motion tween automatically. Boom. And then it fills it in with 1 second. So now take a look. Boom. Hey, now he's going to be flapping his arms, but we want it to be, I want his arms to be flapping a little bigger. So I'm going to go back to keyframe 1, free transform tool, click on the arm. I'm going to rotate this down all the way down, because I want him to get some air. I want him to go all the way from the back and then get real big air. And I'm going to do the same thing for the right arm. I want him to kind of get into it, right? And then I'm going to go to the last keyframe, and I'm going to have him go even higher than this, a little higher, because I want him to really get into it, right? And there you go. So you're only seeing this, but it'll loop back and forth, right? If I click this loop area right here and I click play, it's going to go a little too fast. Sorry. If this little section here for looping, you have to give it a range for it to loop. That's why it's going back and forth. All right. So it's like flapping. I'm going to take out that loop. So that's one way you can see how the loop works. And again, it'll loop because this is nested inside Adobe Animate. It's inside the symbol. So if we come up over here and we click the back, right, we go back to our scene and we get out of the symbol editing mode. Now when we hit our play head, all right, there he goes, but he's not flapping. And the reason why he's not flapping, and I'm going to tell you in a second, is because the nested animations aren't going to show unless you preview the file. So we're going to be doing this, and this is a step you're going to be using a lot from now on. Instead of hitting play to really test your work, you can hit this play button all the way in the corner. We used it before, right, where it says test movie. You can also come back over here and under file and test movie. But we're actually, the easiest way I'm going to show you is to go into test movie. Now, if you look, he's flapping his wings. Okay. If you want to see it a little slower, again, let's shorten up our, I'm going to hold down shift, keep my proportions just so you can see it all. And then I'm going to go ahead and play again, play movie. It's like he's flying, or maybe he's underwater and he's swimming, right? It's however you want to look at it. So there he is. He's moving both arms and he's flapping them. So, and that's how you work with nested symbols all the way through. Okay. Okay. Now that we've hit the test, let's go ahead and hit save file and then save project, right? And then I will come back to you tomorrow to show you what you're going to actually do. You're going to be working on this particular file as on your own project, creating something in the next in the next lesson. All right, guys, that's it for today. Mr. Juarez, over and out.